Howdy, everyone. It is Chad Hackler, and today's topic is right here in front of you: alcohol's impact on your sleep. Um, I've had a few clients of mine that really of ours in general. We have quite a few clients that when we begin to discuss ways to lose body fat, uh, get past those plateaus, blah, blah, blah. They always seem to have this thing with, but I don't want to give up my wine. I love my wine. I love my beer. I love my nightcap, blah, blah, blah. I can say that I'm not much of a drinker, never really have had an affinity. I have too much of a sweet tooth to really care about alcohol. But I totally understand that this is something that a lot of people really enjoy. And so I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about kind of the nature of the way alcohol works. And let's see, I'm going to try to pull up my notes here. So one of the things about alcohol, let's kind of start off. A lot of people tend to feel like, if they're had a stressful day, it kind of takes the edge off. They feel a little bit more relaxed, and those things are true. Alcohol can definitely help you in the relaxation stage, can help you wind down, get ready for bed. A lot of times can even get you ready for bed, something we call sleep onset latency. Basically, that's just the time it takes for you to fall asleep. And alcohol definitely has an impact on that. But this is what most people do not realize. I'm going to kind of flip over here and just to kind of show what the research has already looked at. Alcohol is the most common sleep aid. At least 20% of American adults rely on it for help falling asleep. But the truth is, drinking regularly, even moderate drinking, is much more likely to interfere with your sleep than to assist it. And let me try to explain a little bit why. If you kind of follow along in this diagram, you'll kind of notice that there's a pattern. Now, this first section a lot of times may take 90 minutes or so, and then some of the latter cycles may take a little longer, perhaps as long as 2 hours. But what I want you to notice here in these stages, that they kind of go this direction, and then they come back up. And then this section right here, this is actually your REM sleep. This is where your body really feels refreshed. Unfortunately, what happens, if you notice that in normal sleep, that REM stage gets a little bit longer, and this is where the true restfulness really comes in. And you'll notice it kind of peaks right around 8 hours, which is typically what you hear people say as the ideal amount of time to get sleep. Some people, there's a little variability. Some people really dig 7 hours. Some people might dig 8.5, even upwards of 9. But this is the key, because unfortunately, what wine, beer, what alcohol does before bed, it actually compresses these sleep cycles, and the REM portion is probably the biggest victim in that. And so what will happen is people will attempt to try to get more sleep longer, and they still can't seem to wake up without being groggy, without feeling tired still, and they can't seem to figure it out. Well, look no further than alcohol. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I would say for people that are feeling stressed, or for people that are trying to find a way to relax. It seems good on the front end, but the back end is really where it gets messed up. On top of that, sometimes people feel parched. They feel like they need to drink more water at night. Well, then what's going to happen is you're going to have to urinate countless times throughout the night. So if you're getting up, you're also interrupting your sleep cycles. And that's a hazard. So it's much better to try to drink more throughout the day, and then start to curb that by maybe a few hours before you go to bed. So anyway, I'm going to continue kind of talking about sleep. And on Thursday, I'm going to discuss the power of napping. But before I go there, I do want to kind of talk about a few other aspects of alcohol. Pretty much as far as a metabolic pathway goes, ethanol is pretty much of no benefit. There's no vitamin, mineral, there's no benefit to the body. And the aldehyde that's kind of produced, for sure, some people see as a direct toxin to the body. Now, another thing that I've heard people say with wine, they talk about resveratrol. And resveratrol, I think it was in 1992, there were a few Cornell plant researchers that discovered that resveratrol in a lot of plants, grapes, things of that nature, possibly had some benefits for the heart. Unfortunately, if you were to translate that into an actual amount that would probably be helpful for a human, it's probably more likely to be 2 grams, but if we're being really conservative, that's about 500 to 2,000 milligrams of resveratrol. That's about 40 to 160 liters of wine a day. All I can say is good luck. That's a lot of wine. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover today. I think I pretty much, the only thing I didn't really talk about that would probably also be helpful, one of the other aspects of drinking alcohol before you go to bed is it disturbs your body's ability to achieve a resting heart rate. Generally in the first third of your sleep, the first couple of hours, generally is when you want to hit your resting heart rate. Unfortunately, you won't be able to achieve that. And so it starts to impact what we call heart rate variability. And that's your heart's ability to adjust up and down. And you might call it heart versatility or agility. The more variability that we have, the healthier we are. And unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to have a resting heart rate. And so guess what happens to your anxiety levels and your anxiety, really the ability to calm down. Sometimes people tend to wake up feeling a little bit more wired. Those are critical things, especially if that's happening on a nightly basis. So my suggestion would be to possibly attempt a different route before bed, relaxation training. Some people like to do mindfulness training or meditation. Possibly, one of my favorites is reading the Bible at night, maybe listening to some worship music, but the things that bring you peace are good things to focus on. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Feel free to leave any comments. If there's any other things that you'd like to know kind of related to this topic, feel free to ask away. We love questions and we love your comments. So have a great day and tune in again on Thursday for a little conversation about the power of naps. Take care.